What is AI? Raul?
AI is a buzzword we use currently for everything. From Netflix showing us what our next liked movie is, to ChatGPT writing our emails, to totally different things, but we put it under the same mystified label of AI. And the funny thing is, AI isn't new. It started in the 60s with big machines that had if this, then that. In the 80s, 90s, statistics, we could predict weather for the first time better than humans could. In the 2000s, we started recommendations. Amazon told you what to buy, right? We had, in the 2010s, the first phone unlocking with fingerprint and face recognition. Right now, we have ChatGPT and other large language models that we use day to day. We all of these we call AI, because AI itself is the term we use for machines that act intelligent. But those machines are not intelligent. So AI is not intelligent. It doesn't understand, it doesn't feel, it doesn't reason, it just acts like it. And this is important. And a good example is if you take your phones out right now and go to Gemini or ChatGPT and tell it to create an image of a clock that shows any time you want, you will always get the same image, 10 after 10. Because the current tech that we have right now is not able to understand things. So why the hype right now? Why is everybody talking in the last 2 years about AI? It's because it moved from novelty to commodity. It's the first time where AI is not inside applications or in labs or focused only on corporations. It's in everyone's hand. Everybody is able to use this technology through large language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and others in their day-to-day business. It's the first time we actually understand the power of this technology. But this technology comes also with limitations, obviously. It's not everything is good, not everything is bad, but I will let my colleague tell you about those limitations.
Thanks, Raul. Yeah, so when we talk about limitations, we should also talk about capabilities. So there is, this image, binary image capability and limitations. And on the capability side, AI as a technology has become very powerful and can do high performance, can do numbers crunching, algorithms behind, and so on. And it can accelerate medicine, as we can see. And on the limitation side, the ethics, basically awareness, is not something that AI is kind of capable to deal with. And I give you two examples that are pretty much common sense these days. And face recognition, everyone is wary of the big brother, right, with various connotations. The same technology can recognize and find a missing kid in an airport or on the street, but the same technology can also do mass surveillance and control nations. So you see, basically, there is some kind of a problem there. Then the second example is generative AI. Everyone here should have used so far GPT. You haven't done so, then you are, a bit behind the century. And generative AI, you saw that it can generate text, images, even video. It can transcribe, translate, even create poetry or create art. But on the other hand, basically the same technology can produce fake news, deep fakes, and even false research reports. And, picture this, like, the tension between capability and limitation, right? So AI technology can actually produce a lot of numbers crunching, around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't get tired, it doesn't get bored, and it does it faster than the human. But on the other hand, only the human would know what's the sense of these numbers, why would you do it for? And that's the important thing, that the humanity should decide. Is it something that, we want to build but let decide even in the ethics area, and probably it's not a good idea because AI won't kind of decipher between good and bad. And that's where something that humanity should decide, because AI can give you answers but no wisdom, and AI is a tool, but the humanity should remain the compass.
Okay, I think you're onto something, so I want to stay in this area because I want the audience to understand a little bit deeper as we will develop more. And the question that I want to ask you now, based on what you said, is what problems should AI solve or can solve, like good, and on the flip side, what harm can it do? How dangerous can it be?
Yeah, so I already touched a bit on this with the previous examples, and you could see actually in terms of medicine, right? So I think we already have a kind of life expectancy which is increasing. Actually, the scientific world talks about longevity. They talk about the next kind of cap of life expectancy being 125 years. So check this out on the internet. And again, let's give some examples. On the good side, only last year in 2024, the first 2 Nobel Prizes involved AI in the chemistry and physics domains. In the chemistry one, some guys were able, with an AI engine, to actually reconstruct the 3D shape of the proteins. This is something, in medicine and chemistry and molecular chemistry, very important, because they were able, in minutes, to actually reconstruct the 3D shape of proteins existing on the planet in minutes. So far, they used to take years, sorry. And that's a big leap, a breakthrough. And imagine now, who won the Nobel Prize here? Was it the human modeling the problem, or was it the AI delivering the solution? And, this is an area where AI basically is very, very valuable. But then on the dark side, AI basically was exposed to everything that had a digital footprint on this planet, be it images, video, text, and so on. And it learned from that. It learned to do pattern recognition, to recognize and mimic us to the point that it actually can copy our picture, our avatar, and be scripted to do stuff that we wouldn't do in our life. And these deep fakes are very, very powerful content that can actually produce political chaos. We've seen only recently that the elections have been shaken, around the world, and it can destabilize the society. So that's important for the humanity to decide, because AI has a double edge. It's a double-edged sword. It's basically something that can be used. Whoever sets the objectives, it can be used to actually do good to humanity. But on the other hand, it can actually damage society and control nations.
Very detailed. But there is something that I think the entire audience wants to know now, and we haven't touched it, and we can't have an AI panel without discussing this. There is, a trend, and everybody has a fear. Will AI take our jobs, Raul?
So, let's get real, right? For sure, AI will take our jobs. You listen to the man, right? It doesn't get bored. It doesn't get tired. It does things in minutes that a human needed years to fulfill, right? It would be childish to think that jobs will not disappear. And this is normal when we talk about technology. Throughout time, technology always made jobs disappear. Looking at the industrial era in Britain alone, we had hundreds of thousands of jobs disappearing. But also looking at the statistics, more jobs were created afterwards due to the same revolution. So the actual question we face and the people fear is not taking our jobs, because we lived it over and over again. Will AI replace jobs, or will AI replace people? and that's the catch, because AI can do tasks better than human beings. Nevertheless, the amount of computation we need in order to automate randomness is still on a totally another level than automate patterns, formulas, things that are structured. So right now, with the technology we have, it's much easier, and bear with me, right? Take a deep breath. It's easier to replace a mathematician than to replace a garbage collector. Yeah, and it's hard to hear, but this is the reality, because imagine garbage, like everywhere here, right? So it's random. You cannot create a pattern. You cannot understand a behavior behind it. So looking forward, the white-collar workers will be much more affected than blue-collar workers. So, and we see it day to day, right? Translators, we have headphones since a week. Looking at generating subtext, presentations, designers, right? Software engineers, look at what the industry does. So we face a challenge with the current job market. We need to adapt, for sure, but I surely can imagine in 2-3 years a carpenter earning much more and being more valuable in society than a software engineer.
That's a surprise. Okay, thank you. Let's stay here because I don't want to keep the audience in fright, right? Let's look at the solution, because when you were answering, you were mentioning about different capabilities, right? And when we talk about capabilities, we think about skills. When we think about skills, we think about we can learn those skills. And when we talk about learning, we talk about education. How can education help the humanity in this job-changing market? And how can education help us prepare for AI?
There are two aspects to education when it comes to AI. It's teaching AI or AI as the teacher. In teaching AI, we are already too late. Because as Europeans, because we always try to regulate things, and regulation kills innovation. So what happened is in China, since January or February this year, children 6 to 8 have a mandatory, are mandatory to learn AI in schools. So this is currently implemented. Looking at this, we still have an industrial created educational system, focusing on storing dates, remembering dates, remembering patterns, formulas. So focusing on memorizing knowledge. But knowledge became, through large language model especially, commodity. You have access to it. You don't need to memorize things. What you need to do is to be able to interact with this big pool of knowledge in order to create new things, to leverage the knowledge that's out there to create wisdom. There are 5 things I thought about what would be the 5 things that we need to learn when asked, totally random. So I believe there are 5 skills we need to teach children nowadays. First is curiosity. Why? Because first we need to ask better questions to the AI, and we need to understand the underlying processes that AI does. We need to understand what AI does. We don't need to do it, but we need to understand what it does. The second one is critical thinking, because current AI, at least, still hallucinates. So we need to be able to ask again and understand what is real and what is hallucination. We need creativity. AI cannot generate uniqueness. We need to be able to still create unique things in the world. We need emotional intelligence to be able to interact with humans and also preserve the last human part in us, right? And last but not least, adaptability, because the jobs from tomorrow do not exist yet. In the 90s, nobody knew what an influencer is or a YouTuber. It's hard to accomplish those things, but there is a huge opportunity with AI by utilizing AI as a teacher. What's the problem we face currently? The problem with teachers we face are the barriers in their communication with children. Language, attention span, level of understanding, the number of children a teacher needs to take care of. All these things can be solved by AI tutors. They can address each child individually. They can create curricula for each individual. They can interact. They can break language barriers. So teachers can orchestrate this knowledge, let's say, through AI tutors. And teachers need to adapt. It's a ethical responsibility for them to right now to adapt to this new wave and not go into classrooms and say, you used AI to generate this paper. Of course you used AI to generate this paper. The same way you use a pencil to generate this paper, or a paper or a computer to type it on. It's the same way you do those things that you use AI to beautify the text. And teachers need to get to this level, need to understand this. Otherwise, we will end up with idiocracy. You can Google it. Not being a comedy, but being a documentary.
Fantastic movie, by the way. So, 5 things that you need to take out of this. Curiosity, critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, and adaptability. If you haven't practiced any of these lately, please go and start doing it, because they will be important. And I know we can all do it. So we've understood what AI is, what are the risks, what AI can solve, what we can do to prepare. Let's now take a sneak peek into the future, 25 years from now. And I'm going to ask Val, how will 2050 look like?
Okay, this is copyrighted now, right? Right, so in 2045, first of all, let's face it, at the moment we are a kind of trophic chain on this planet, you know, nature, animals, humans. Human race basically controls everything, you know, sometimes in a wise manner, sometimes not. They control resources on this planet, so on and so forth. But they say that in 2040, there is a company called Tesla that actually advertises that they will do mass production of humanoid robots. Its name is Optimus. And Optimus will be a new hero on this trophic chain, right? So the question is, where is he going to stand, you know, on top of the human reign or below? Here is a situation. Basically, they say that in 2040, the number of these robots will outnumber the humans on this planet, so, you know, a few billions. And they will be doing a kind of various stuff, you know, to do the job at your work, or keep in order your house, clean dishes, mow the grass, you know, all that stuff. Even give you a massage before going to bed.
I love massages.
Yeah, and imagine this, it will be not only your personal assistant, but your confidant will know everything that basically about you, even stuff that you wouldn't know about you. And imagine this situation now. One night, the company does the usual firmware upgrade, the same way you have your iPhone upgraded in the morning when you wake up. And something goes wrong during this upgrade, and there is a bug that they haven't found, and you know, the bots start becoming erratic, right? So they shake stuff, set the house on fire, kind of smash cars, even commit crime. And, you know, it's an impossible situation. Imagine billions of such bots going erratic. And picture this, you know, police helicopters, woo, 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 trying to figure out what's going on in each district in this city, like in fire, army trying to stop this disorder. And the company is basically giving the message that they can't restore the firmware because the connection is lost to the bots. So it's a nightmare situation, right? So, okay, it's with the copyright. And then what? The clock alarm goes off. It was a dream. Okay, in my second life, I'll be a movie director. Anyway, but the question still stays. So, will this bot be the servant of humanity, or will it do or deliver somebody else's agenda? And this question will stay with us forever.
I think you should direct the movie. So, in the closing of this, I just want to say something. AI is like an event that happens maybe once in 1,000 years. And it's happening in our lifetime, whether we like it or not. So let's try not to mess this up. And we've addressed some of the things that we can do, of course. And those 5, I'm not going to repeat, you should know them by now, they can sum up to one single word, which is resilience. And we as humans, we are resilient. We are here for more than a couple of million of years, right? And if you think we cannot do it, think about the fact that we moved from, Homo sapiens to the modern man, from caves to skyscrapers, from inventing fire to satellites or smartphones or smartwatches or smart rings or everything that is smart around our house, from throwing sticks and rocks to putting a man on the moon. Yes, we are resilient and we can do it. The only catch is with AI that we as humans, in order to achieve this, we have to embrace it. Because at the question, will humans be replaced by AI? The obvious answer from the specialist is that humans that do not embrace AI, they will be replaced by other humans that embrace AI. I'll let that sink for a moment. And with that being said, I hope this was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for being here. Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Valentin. A big round of applause.